The alarm clock in Arav Sharma's small room shrieked at 4:30 a.m. every single day. For Arav, this was more than a wake-up call. It was the first step in his relentless pursuit of the UPSC dream. His world was a fortress of discipline, every hour mapped, every minute dedicated to clearing the civil services exam. Surrounded by maps, timelines, and motivational quotes, he immersed himself in books, his life shrinking to the size of his study room. Friends faded away, understanding that Arav now lived for a single goal, the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration. Meals were quick, breaks were rare, and the outside world became a distant hum. He imagined himself as a district magistrate, making decisions that shaped lives, fueling his drive through fatigue and doubt. Evenings meant mock tests and answer writing, simulating the pressure of the real exam. Arav believed this isolation and sacrifice were the price for a lifetime of meaningful service. He was convinced that the key to his future and to serving his country lay within the pages of those books. But life seeped through Arav's carefully built walls. On brief walks to the market, he saw the struggles of the poor, children out of school, a vendor's tired eyes, poverty in action. The disconnect between his studies and the world outside grew sharper. He questioned if memorizing policies was enough, when real problems waited just outside his door. The fortress of discipline began to crack, letting in the light of reality. Arav wondered, was he truly on the right path? The UPSC results arrived. Arav's name was missing again. The silence in his room was deafening. His routine collapsed, and the alarm clock fell silent. Relatives called with sympathy, but their questions stung. How long will you keep trying? Arav felt adrift, his identity as a UPSC aspirant crumbling. Wandering his neighborhood, he saw the same struggles now mirrored in his own sense of failure. He realized the people around him were not waiting for a distant officer. They were surviving day by day. Arav saw that he had been so focused on gaining power to serve, he had forgotten he could serve already. He did not need a title to be kind or to share knowledge. The original spark to help others was still alive. Maybe true service was not about grand policies, but about small, direct actions. One afternoon, Arav walked into the slum with a slate, chalk, and storybooks. He sat under a neem tree, drawing pictures. Curious children gathered around. What began as a drawing session became an impromptu class. Alphabets, numbers, stories and songs. The neem tree became their school, the ground their blackboard. Arav found joy in teaching, seeing understanding dawn in a child's eyes. Priya, a bright girl who had never been to school, learned to write her name. Her mother's gratitude moved Arav more than any imagined accolade. This was his turning point. He did not need permission to serve. The weight of failure lifted, replaced by a new sense of purpose. Arav was no longer a failed aspirant. He was Arav Bhaiya, the teacher. Arav's small initiative grew quickly. 5 children became 20. The community, once hesitant, embraced the change. As children became more hopeful and disciplined, parents contributed water, help, encouragement, making it a shared project. Volunteers joined, college students, a retired teacher, all helping to expand the effort. They pooled resources for books, maths, and a blackboard. The Veranda School, Gyanodaya, became a beacon of hope. The area grew cleaner and the community more united. Arav had sparked not just education, but empowerment. He was not a government officer, but he was leading real change. The ripples from his single act spread wider than he had ever imagined. Not everyone admired Arav's new path. His parents worried. Was this a career or just a way to cope with failure? Friends called his work noble but naive, insisting real change required being inside the system. Society questioned his choices, measuring him by old standards of success. Doubt crept in. But Arav found strength in the results. He saw daily the hug of a child, the pride of a parent, the growing sense of community. These became his validation. He realized he no longer measured success by titles or income. His purpose was now defined by what he could give, not what he could gain. This clarity became his shield against criticism. Arav's conviction held firm, rooted in the lives he touched. Years passed. Arav's Neem Tree School became the Gyanodaya Community Project, a registered non-profit. With support, they rented a building, added classrooms, a library, and a computer lab. Gyanodaya now educated hundreds of children, trained women, and ran health camps. Arav became a social entrepreneur and mentor, inspiring others to volunteer and support the cause. Even government officials partnered with Gyanodaya, recognizing its impact. Arav reflected on his journey. Once chasing a title, now finding purpose in service itself. He realized true satisfaction came not from authority, but from action. His story redefined success. It is not about the chair you occupy, but the lives you touch. Real change begins with a single step taken toward people, not power. Arav learned the true examination of life is passed in the heart of a community with open hands and an open heart. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share ars.innovation for more like this.